The new champion of Shazam, issue 3, Josie Campbell writing with Doc Shaner on the art. So this is issue 3 of 4. Of course, we're looking for the missing foster parents as Mary. And she's, dealing with the family. She's got this shard of... I was actually kind of surprised, like, later on in the issue when she's like, wait, this is part of a phone. I'm like, yeah, it looked like a phone before you smashed it. I don't know why you're surprised by this.
To be fair, Mary's under a lot of stress right now.
Okay, I'll give her a break. Also, shout out to the Big Belly Burger cameo early on. But she wakes up and poor Darla, like she's determined to help and be a part of this superhero team. And there's a big scene with her later on that's going to melt some hearts. But basically, her last issue, running away from the reporter when she was asked what her name was, has become a meme. She wakes up to find that there's tons of comments and videos making fun of her on the internet. And we see some of these comments, and we got some sexist stuff and some, she's ugly. Oh, we get stuck with Shazam. We don't have a proper superhero shit like that.
Yeah, a lot of commentary on internet stuff.
Well, do you know the sad part of this is that these all feel like comments I've seen just about someone else, or
about different characters. I mean, we earlier in the episode we talked about She-Hulk. A lot of these you could just take out Mary Marvel.
Oh yeah,
and it's a lot of the same stuff. So, but I do love that Josie Campbell is really has that vibe with Mary just being like, I'm so tired of this, you look at her and with the Shaner art is very exasperated.
I love the hair in this scene where like her hair's just sticking up all over the place, and she's clearly just like she's had enough of this shit. She's like she just so she uses the lab at the community college to investigate the shard of the thing. She finds the SIM card, and she even maybe theorizes that the giant croc that she thought was actually a human, obviously transformed, but the DNA actually indicates it came from a human. And then we set up this teacher, and right away I was getting my like secretly the villain alarm was going off, like ding 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 ding, like especially when she starts talking about how, oh, you and me, we're smart, we're just better than other people, we've got more ambition and more dreams, so we're better than that. I was like, yeah, you're clearly the villain behind all this, so I'm not buying anything you say, lady.
Like, it's so obvious that if it doesn't happen, I'm going to be upset.
Which isn't really a complaint per se. I think it was kind of, like it's very much foreshadowing. Like the final panel of this woman is a close up of her eyes, and it's Mary's reflection on her sunglasses as she's saying the part where she's saying, "Yeah, we're better than other people. We matter." It's like, yeah, you're evil. Like you're broadcasting it from the rooftops here.
There's that, and she's going to need a new TA. And she's just automatically inviting Mary to be that TA because the 3 guys that are her TAs, and I was like, oh, I remember when I saw 3 guys, from the issue before. So, yeah, heavy-handed foreshadowing, but still.
Yeah, and then Mary runs into Eugene, and like he's just it's not like he sort of plays it like he doesn't know about all the memes yet because he wasn't there earlier on. But then as she's leaving, she just sort of says, "Hey Mary, why are you running?" Because that's kind of the main joke, is because she ran away. I got a chuckle out of that. I think one of the things that I've really liked about this mini is that it's focused on Mary, but all of her interactions with the rest of the family have all been really enjoyable. Yeah. And really worked. But
it feels like actual family dynamics. So because that does feel like something a little brother would do just to tease her. Keep it close to the vest.
So Mary goes looking for where some of these people have went missing, that other than her parents, and it leads her to like this like old railway station or subway station, I should say, with just lots of homeless people in tents, and a lot of the people that have been going missing have been homeless, which is why the police and so don't really care that much. They're just kind of like ignoring it. And she runs into Dudley, Uncle Marv, down here.
So, are you familiar with this character from Shazam lore?
I mean, I recognize the name, and it's hard not to think Uncle Marv. Oh, the Marvel family, so and so on.
And he's kind of been around, but he was actually introduced through Mary Marvel. So it's one of those things where they took a character, they revamped him for here, and he fits in super well. But yeah, his name is actually Dudley H. Dudley. So I do like that they worked that in, that he wants to be called Uncle Marv.
Mm.
So, but yeah, a very, very welcome addition. I like when they add stuff from old school Shazam, like when they added Taki Tani.
He's kind of the friendly like leader of the group who talks to Mary and says, "Oh, these are the people that have went missing. Here's some other stuff," and she finds some clues in one of the missing guys' tents. That kind of ties it to the trials that the college professor's been running. So again, setting up that she's the villain, and then a villain shows up, a guy who can basically. Well, it's not clear immediately what he's doing to the others, but they're all like sort of holding their heads, and then it comes clear. After we get a great Shazam page of her, suiting up and punching him in the face. Great full page spread. It turns out he basically like puts like bad thoughts in your head, so kind of working on your insecurities. So he just sort of looks at her, his eyes glow, and then I love what the art does here. The first time it happens is you get like so the sentence "what a piece of utter trash," right, is what's going into her head. But the way it's represented on the art, it's as if these like letters of the words are made of like rock and they're falling down around her. It looks really good and really gives you this sense of impact. And then the next couple of pages do it in different ways, where it's either like on a plain black background, or it's like they're all coming towards her head or something like that. But it's basically all the YouTube comments we saw before that were kind of making fun of her, but like really playing on her insecurities. And she's trying to fight through it and so on. Eventually she wins by punching the heart, which is where the phone is. He's got a jacket on, so you don't see it until now.
Right.
But she punches it with the hunch that if he's like the others, he's got a phone there that's helping him do this stuff. It's sort of this mix of magic and technology. And sure enough, that breaks the spell, if you want to call it that. And but she gets woozy afterwards, and falls down, and he escapes because of that. So really good stuff. I think the big heartfelt bit of the issue though is the scene with Darla after this, where Mary is frustrated. She's struggling dealing with being this sort of new celebrity superhero. She's struggling being the adult of the family. She's struggling with the fact that Billy's not there. Try to find the parents, being super stressful. And she goes home and Darla is like waiting for her, and she's like, "I've been doing research, we should do research," and she keeps saying all these things. And she's like, "Oh, it's great, you're back home where you belong." And eventually Mary, it all bubbles up and she yells out after all the stress, "I never wanted to come back." And like the next page, right, it's that thing where you see Darla's big eyes looking up at her all sad, and then Mary sort of puts her hands over her mouth. Like the art here from Shaner is perfect. It is the perfect way of like, oh shit, I just said something that's going to break her heart and I've realized I've said it. And she runs off and slams her door, obviously, and you just get Mary leaning her head against the door in like utter defeat. And obviously Mary's not being selfish here, that she wants her own life and she wants to go off to university and do all these things. But there is kind of this moment here where she's just been thinking about how all this is affecting her up until this point. And I think this is the moment,
Yeah, she's clearly overwhelmed because she wanted to go off to college, be her own person. Yet she got pulled back into the family stuff because of her foster parents' disappearance. And so as she's trying to figure this out, and Darla wants to help, but she only has, she has that little kid exuberance that gets kind of annoying. And so we understand where Mary's coming from, which I feel like that's what makes it impact even more. Is I've done this before, where you're just like, okay, I didn't mean to say that, I was just upset, just because you're being weighed down by everything else, and you don't have time to keep telling this person, look, I know you want to help, but let me breathe for a second, and we'll get on this. So plus she's also like an 11, 12-year-old kid. She doesn't need to be out there.
Less than that.
Yeah, is Darla that much younger?
Actually, she's like 8 or something like that, yeah.
Oh, shoot. Yeah. She doesn't need to be out there right now. Especially sans powers.
Yeah, well, that's the big cliffhanger, isn't it? Is that Darla sneaks out and runs off on her own and seemingly is going to be in a lot of danger. And she's kind of looked at the research that Mary's had and figured out a lot of the same things, because Mary left her research out when she was like, she was looking at it before she went to sleep. And the other's like, hey, Darla's missing, where's she gone? and it's like, oh shit. So you really have one issue left, and I'm sad that there's only one issue left because I've been really enjoying this miniseries.
Yeah, I hope this gets either an ongoing or a part 2. You know, I'm really enjoying this team together.
Yeah, I'll take sequels absolutely if they want to keep doing stuff. I mean, I expect Billy will be back.
But no, I just like having the Shazam family. I like when we make Mary Marvel prominent in it. So just getting this, and plus Shayna art, like this is like the perfect series for him to show off the kind of that, you know, silver aginess that we loved in was the Adam Strange book.
Strange
Adventures. There we go. That he showed off in Strange Adventures, and it feels just right here.
Yeah, but it's very expressive still. So there's a lot of like, you know, modern artistic techniques being used, but it does also look very old school and Silver Age at the same time.
Yeah, and I feel like that's where Shazam's at its best, is when it's balancing that. You know, it's not being too modern, but it's not being too old-timey.
I think Mary's appeal. I was thinking about this, why she appeals to me so much more than maybe even Billy at times, but certainly the rest of the family. And I like, you know, Freddy's obviously great, and I like the ensemble. Darla's adorable and all that, but I think it's because she's the oldest, and there's something about that, like, she's on the verge of adulthood, and she's kind of burdened with looking after the rest of them because she is the oldest. And I think there's kind of this weird relatability there where she still kind of feels like a kid because she's just sort of not quite an adult yet, but she's also the one who is being forced to grow up by looking after the rest of them. That I think just appeals. Maybe it's a sort of thing where maybe that doesn't appeal to you as much if you're really young. If you're a kid yourself, maybe you don't see that. But I think there's this weird kind of you know, like if you've ever seen something like Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead, you know, you've got the older teen girl who has to sort of step up and become the role model for the rest of them.
Right.
Or yeah, even like a show like the hit television show Buffy the Vampire Slayer, where you've got this idea of the teen who's been thrusted with this responsibility and doesn't know how to handle it and grow up a little bit. It's very relatable and likable even when they screw up, because you get why they screw up, but that's part of the heart of it.
Yeah, it's not quite a coming of age, but it is them coming into a sense of self.
It's basically them being forced with some adult responsibilities before they've came of age, and that's kind of where the clash is that creates the appeal of the story. You know,
for sure.
So yeah. So I think that's why Mary appeals a lot, just in terms of what her role is in the Shazam family. But it's cool. So
for sure.
All right, what are you giving a new champion of Shazam issue 3?
I'm giving this one a 9.
Oh. Yeah, I'm tempted to as well. I think I'm going to go 8.5.
Okay.
I really liked it, but I don't know if it sparked me quite as much as the first 2 issues, but I still really, really, really loved it. So I'll say 8.5 for this one.